right, here we go, folks. I got my hair grease stuff ready. That's it. Let's do this. Welcome, everybody. I got messy hair tonight. Come on in, get your drinks. Welcome, everybody. Evening Hour live right here on YouTube. All right. This is going to be a fun one tonight. My name is Cardone, and this is Evening Hour live on YouTube. Oh, we got a crowd in here. Come on in, grab drinks. It's Monday. I actually really like Mondays. A lot of people hate Mondays. I dig them. Oh, let me know how my sound is tonight. And in the meantime, I'm going to pull my hair back because it's just, I just got out of the shower. It's wet. You can see all my gray hair. Look at all the gray hair. When you use hair grease, it makes the gray go away. I mean, it kind of makes it look wet, so it's not as bad. Wow, we're going to have a good time tonight. Come on in. Before I begin, I want to say, if you're new, subscribe. Hit the subscribe, notify, and like button. Trying to hit 1,000, getting closer every day. Yeah, I mean, folks, I'm getting the donations from my viewers, and it's going into the show. And everybody else is sharing, and it's helping. It's all going to this. Shout outs to my list. Anybody that donates $25 gets put on the list, which will be for locked and special deals. And this is what's crazy. Wednesday night, Evening Hour, which is this show, it's a very special episode for two reasons. A, I'm going to have my first guest on here, sitting right here. The show is called Surf or Die. It's a show about surfing, and we're going to get into the philosophy part. So even if you're not a surfer, I think you're going to dig it. And if you're curious about learning how to surf, it's going to be a lot. My good friend Dylan, who's a surf coach, surf teacher, surf guru, is going to come in here, and we're going to chat about surfing. And then on that show on Wednesday, I'm going to be drawing a name for a prize. And that is this. Anybody that, boom, here we go. Where are we here? No, there we go. See that shirt? That's a mock-up of me wearing the shirt and holding the pack of cards. There's a giveaway. If you go to my Instagram, Cardone Magic, there's a contest. And the contest is on one of the posts. It's the most recent post that says the Satanic Playing Cards. If you go on there, there are instructions for being part of the drawing for a shirt and a pack of cards. Very cool. And for those of you that are backers for that Kickstarter, we hit 10 grand, folks. Wow. That is the magic number on Kickstarter. We hit it in a week. We actually hit our number in 2 hours. We funded the project. Our goal was to hit 10 grand. We hit it. We have 20 more days. So the next one's 15 and then 20. I think we can do it. We got really great people in there helping us. We got to spread the word. So that's why we're running some contests. And check this out. One of the cards in the deck is going to have the face of somebody, one of the backers. And that is a new reward that's going to be on. It's on there already if you go look. So anybody who's part of that, thank you. So Wednesday's episode is about surfing. It's called Surf or Die. It's a surfing episode. The other episode that's coming up on Friday, this is going to be kind of cool, and I'm very curious. It's entitled Tarantino Sucks. And it is my I Don't Like Quentin Tarantino episode. And in it, I'm going to teach something pretty cool. I'm going to teach a little technique for anybody who's a performer or an actor trying to play a part. So if you are a theater person, an actor of sorts, somebody who is going to be in a play, a theater teacher, you probably know some of these tricks I'm going to teach. But I'm going to dedicate it to, I'm not just going to rail on Tarantino. I'm going to explain what I don't like about it, and I'm going to explain what I do like, the types of films I do like. So if you're a Tarantino fan, I want you to watch it so you can comment on it. I have a couple friends that are crazy Quentin Tarantino fans. They love his movies, and we're always debating them. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So that's coming up. So come on in, folks. Whoever's coming in, grab a drink. Tonight I'm on seltzer water, cherry-flavored seltzer water. Cheers, everybody. Libra Liz, what's up? Kinky Pink. Come on in. Anybody has questions tonight, please ask. So the format tonight, now you all know it's a hair grease demo. I'm going to talk about hair grease, and if you stick around, later on, I'm going to tell you my secret to having healthy hair. I have one secret. I've been doing it for a very long time. Since 2007. Since I'm sorry. What am I, crazy? Since 1997. Wow. My brain was just like off by a long time there. Since 1997, I've been doing the same secret, and I think you'll like it. All right, let's get in the meat of this. I have a lot to do, a lot to say. We're going to talk about Flash Gordon tonight because the other day was the 40th anniversary of pretty much my favorite movie of all time. A lot of you would agree. My friend made a post about it being the greatest film of all time. For me, it pretty much is. Yeah, it's in the top 3, and I juggle around. But yeah, I'd say it's my favorite movie. It's the one I've seen the most. We're going to talk about this later after I comb my hair. So yeah, I usually, if you see me, so when I was in high school, I used to sport the devil lock, Misfit style. I have basically the same haircut as I had in high school. I had a guy asking me earlier what my hair is like when I'm not, greased up, and it's basically this. It's not really long on the top, a little bit. It's super long in the front, and the sides have to have a little bit of length so you can get what we call the sidewall, and also in the back just a little bit. And I don't make the back too long, and I don't like it too short. I like it a little long in the back, but not really. So that you can make your DA in the back, also known as a duck's ass, which we'll talk about. So that's what my hair looks like. So if you see me with like non-slicked back hair, most of the time I'm sporting a hat just because I don't want it flapping around. But before we get to my hair, I want to dedicate tonight's episode to David Landers, a.k.a. Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley. I grew up watching the show. I was a huge fan of Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and of course the characters Lenny and Squiggy. I thought they stole the show. I would watch Laverne and Shirley waiting for them to come on. I mean, it was definitely, they were a big part of it for me. Basically, I watched the show for them. And I want to talk about the characters Lenny and Squiggy a little bit. Any Lenny and Squiggy fans out there, chime on in. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know. You guys are quiet. We have a quiet group tonight. Usually we have some chatterboxes in here. If you can hear me, let me know. I think we can. Let me see something here. Hi. Yeah. Okay, cool. So David Lander, Michael McKean, they are actors, and they play Lenny and Squiggy. And they are from New York City, those guys, and they met in college. And it just so happens that the college I went to study theater arts was the one they went to. So when I got there, I didn't even know they were alums from Carnegie Mellon. I knew some of the other celebrity alums, but I didn't know them. everybody who performed at Carnegie Mellon and graduated with a BFA in theater arts had their names in the back of the theater. There was like each class had a section and the names. And when you were a freshman, there was something called the freshman curse. And that was if you wrote your name on the wall, you were going to get kicked out. Because they kicked out half the students at the end of the year, of your first year. And of course, knowing you guys know who I am, I wrote my name on it. And of course, the curse didn't work. I graduated. But their names were all in the back. Ah, my mom's watching. Hi, Mama. Yeah, so Lenny and Squiggy, or Michael McKean and David Lander, they went to Carnegie Mellon. And what I didn't realize, this is great, they invented the characters Lenny and Squiggy at CMU. It was their little thing they would do. They would just go into character and play these parts. They were 1950s style street greaser. Squiggy originally, I think his real last name was Squigdonato. It was, I wrote it down. Well, it was Andrew Squigdonato or something, and they changed it to Andrew Squigman, and they made him German because they thought there were too many Italians on Laverne and Shirley, which I think is funny. You're like, too many Italians. Because they had Carmine, and all those guys. So, Lenny and Squiggy, they invented those characters at Carnegie Mellon. And I guess they were friends with Penny Marshall. And her show, Penny Marshall was a guest on Happy Days. People, if you ever want to watch something crazy, watch Laverne and Shirley on Happy Days before they got to their TV show. Very different characters. Right, yeah, you should see it. Anyway, they called after they got... Okay, so Laverne and Shirley got a show without a pilot. They just knew it was going to do well. Yeah, they did. Okay, we'll get to this in a second. This is where it gets interesting. Libra Liz. They did create these characters. So, there was no pilot. They were just like, we're going to do Laverne and Shirley. It's going to make a lot of money, and we've got this, really great team of people. Happy Days was doing well. As a child, Arthur Fonzarelli was where I got my moral code. I mean, he was it. He was the man. And so they wanted the producers and the directors to meet David Lander, and they wanted to meet Michael McKean. So they were like, all right, they're going to throw a party. You guys should show up, and you should meet them. So they get there, and they're at the party. I forget whose house they were at. They were at Gary Marshall's house, maybe? One of the Marshalls, one of the director guys. And they were like, can you guys do Lenny and Squiggy? And they were like, yeah. And they were like, it's a little weird. They just did it at the party, and people went nuts, and they got the part. And they really did create those characters. They even created the material on the show. And now you know why it's good. They weren't relying on some rich kid who's a screenwriter who knows nothing about theater, the rules of drama, or performing to write their dialogue and hand it to them and tell them to read it and make it good. They made it up because the director knew to trust them because they were real actors. Okay? Awesome. Those characters made a huge difference. I mean, they're only on screen on that show for little brief moments, and yet you get this meaty character that looks kind of realistic. It's cartoonish, but real. And that's what Squiggy was. He was a cartoon character, but somebody that you knew. You're like, wow, that's a real guy. And if you go look up Lenny and Squiggy live playing music, there's a lot of great videos, because they did have a band called Lenny and the Squigtones. Yeah. And then Lenny went on Spinal Tap all the way, man. Pretty cool. And what's his name? The other guy in Spinal Tap. Goodness gracious. Christopher Guest. He was one of the guitar players in Lenny and the Squigtones. So I'm guessing they were all friends. I'm going to look that up afterwards. But yeah, dude, crazy cool stuff. Huge fan. He passed away the other day. And the irony is, 2 weeks ago, I posted a picture of me with a slick back hair with the famous Squiggy. I always called this a Squiggy when I was little. Because dude, Squiggy had basically a devil lock. He had a little short one that went like this. It was like a little, like that. Like a little pointy squig. Yeah, he passed away the other day. And 2 weeks ago, I literally posted a picture of me combing my hair, and somebody superimposed a picture of Squiggy. And I was kind of flattered because I was like, yeah, he was my childhood hero. One of them. And hope you enjoyed that story. Anything else I forgot about him? Oh, yeah, he was 73. This is kind of cool. And he was like the spokesman for the MS Society, Multiple Sclerosis Society. He had MS. I think it eventually caught up with him and got him. He died at 73. And he always says early detection, early detection. So if you have MS, I have a family member with MS. If you catch it early and you take care of it and you're healthy, you can do okay. So shout out to all the people with MS. David Landers, look him up. He was like the spokesman for it. And I think he wrote a book about it too. Anywho, let's get to hair grease before my wet goes away. All right. Here we go, folks. Let's get to hair grease. Hey, how's the water boil? Here we go. All right, let's bring it in. So if you're going to grease your hair, the first thing you need is hair grease. I use Murray's. I've been using Murray's pomade for, my goodness, I don't know, for a very long time. 20, 30 years? I can't tell. All right, here we go. Here's a pot of boiling water. There we go. Thank you. My assistant, Moonlight, is here. Thank you, Moonlight. All right. Let me put this on. That is a pot of boiling water. Let's see here. I'm going to pour some in. See? Oh, yeah. I might have to let this sit for a while. Now, as a bagel baker, I got used to touching boiling water. We'll let that sit while I talk about this. So, you need pomade. There's a lot of brands. There's boutique brands. There's fancy little brands that use natural this and that. And I go through so much. I just use this. I can tell how busy I am with my magic business by how much of this I go through. And I buy it in bulk. And, yeah, it's petroleum. It's just grease. It has a weird smell. A smell that I like. And they make different ones. Murray's makes 3 or 4 different ones. They have a thick one. This is the orange one. This is like the popular one. So a little bit, I was doing a little research. Pomade, this is kind of nuts. I just looked this up the other day. I was like, what's the deal with pomade? What? What the hell? I just wrote it down. Well, oh, here. This is it. Yeah. So, rich people in the 18th century used pomade. In the 19th century, they started using bear fat as the main ingredient. And by the 20th century, they started using wax, beeswax, and petroleum. I thought that was funny. So, yeah, you need this. The other thing you need, other than pomade, is a big comb. The big boy. You know when you're in the store and you see the combs, you're like, who the heck uses a giant comb? You have to have one. Those little tiny plastic combs that you see in the deli or the grocery store, you know, I used to call them a greaser comb. They're little. They're like a little pocket comb. You can't do that with this. You will literally break the comb or it'll just flexible away. So you need at least this size. And you want one, here, I'm going to do a close-up now. You want one that has the big side and the small side, the thin side. And you'll see why in a second. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason why it's big and it's way easier. You'll see it's hard to get the comb through. All right, let me make sure this water, ooh, it's hot. And you need hot water. If you shower and you do this immediately, it's easier. But if you want to have a big pompadour, I mean a big one, a little drier is better. Okay? So let's talk about this, what I'm going to do. I have been wearing my hair in a slicked fashion for many, 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 many years when I do magic shows. Even in middle school and high school, when I would do a magic show, I would always slick my hair back. I used to use Brill cream, pomade, hairspray. I didn't have a technique yet. I would do whatever. And then when I moved to New York City and I started doing magic shows, the first thing I would do is I did not use pomade. I used hairspray because I wanted it to be a helmet. So I would buy the white can of Aquanet, which is as strong as it gets. It's a white can with pink. And I would shower, dry it, Aquanet the hell out of it, slick it back, and it would be a helmet. It would be like hard as a rock. The problem is when you're using hairspray and one piece comes out, you're done. Or if it gets bumped, or because I do straitjacket escape, folks. So I'm like, you know. So when I'm done, if you have hairspray, it's like it's broken and it's gone. It's like fluffy now. If you use hair wax or grease, you just comb it again. Now, right now, I'm gonna be honest. I just got out of the shower, and I didn't use shampoo. I have so much hair grease in my hair all the time that even now there's some in here. Probably a lot to most standards. And you can see a lot of my gray. See all my gray on my sides? So anybody out here wants to slick your hair, whether you be a guy or a girl, I love it when chicks do the greaser look. I always thought it looked cool when they have like, this gray, when you grease it, goes away. It does look better. So let's do this. Let's start. So the first thing you need to do is make your hair grease soft. And I do it in my hands. So watch what I do. Before I even get to the comb, I have wet hair, right? It's damp. Right now it's just damp. I'm going to take... I love it, Luke. Awesome. I'm going to take a clump of this. I know, I do everything from magic to philosophy to hair grease. Here, I'm going to switch over to the hand cam now. Boop. That's a big old clump. Okay? And then I'm going to wet it. Oh, damn, that's hot. Woo! I'm going to use both hands now. All right, now I'm going to switch to the other cam. Watch this. And I am going to move. Actually, I should have moved this earlier. Cool, I have a mirror over here now. So I can see your texts. Curly hair means hair helmet. Well, hold on. Notice who's on the front of this. There are African Americans on here. African American people used this hair grease to straighten their hair. I mean, they were the ones. That's what greasers were. They were white dudes trying to look like their black brethren, musicians. They would do the same kind of. They would dress the same, dance the same. That's what Elvis was doing. All right, now I am now smushing out that the grease around my hands and wetting it, and then I'm going to apply it on the sides. Okay, and if you get look, even another big clump. So that's 2. And I'm putting it in the palm of my hand, like a little glob, and you run it under hot water, and you smush it around, and it gets flat, and then, boop, now I'm going to do the front like this. Now, if you want a pompadour, like a giant pompadour, you got to grow the front out a little bit, because that's what makes the mound, right? All right, now, you want to get there's another glump, and I should be done now. And this will last me a few days. And when I'm done, I'm going to tell you my hair secret that a lot of people don't know about me, but a lot of close people know. I have one secret about my hair. Okay. I worked in a hair salon for a minute, but I didn't learn anything. I was the guy that took the money, and it was my friend's hair salon. I would help him out. And I would pay people. I would mix colors, even though I had no idea what I was doing. And I'm not going to say what hair salon because it's kind of a famous one. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to put it in the back of my head because that's for the duck's ass. And if there's any extra, I put it on my sideburns. And I work it in so they are tamed. Okay. Now that I've got a bunch of grease in my hair that's clumpy, very clumpy, you get the comb. Now, the first thing you want to do when you're greasing your hair and make it good is you want to go, I do the sides, maybe the back, or the top. So watch, I'm going to start with the side. And the reason for the little teeth as opposed to the big teeth is to get out the clumps of wax. You might not have to. So I'm going to wet this comb a little bit. Okay, here we go. Watch. Oh, look how hard that is to get through. And lots of grease in the comb. And look, the reason why for the big comb is I use the comb in different positions. Look, there's a big clump right there. Look at that clump. So then I take the little teeth and I use that to pull out the clump. And it blends it in. And then I go back to the big. Okay? Comb this. Okay, now, I'm going to just do this a bit. Okay, because there's a lot of grease in there. Okay, I'm not going to fix this yet. Now I'm going to do the other side. Oh, it's really hard because of how thick it is. And there. God, I can barely get this comb through. That's how thick that wax grease is. All right, there's one side wall done. And no clumps. And now, this is going to be hard to see, but now I take this and I'm going to go 1, 2, like this. Look. 1, 2. And this is me making the duck's ass. And the reason why it's called a duck's ass, or a DA, is because it looks like the wisp of a duck. And if you're a real greaser, you learn how to do this without looking in the mirror. You just kind of, you can feel it. Okay, now I'm going to do the top and the sides and like blend it. So, all right, so then you got to get here. I'm going to go up. Watch. I'm going to lift it up and set it down. And then I'm going to fix the sides. And if you want it bigger, you push it a little forward. And if you ever want to see the most amazing pompadour greaser haircuts of all time, look up Japanese greaser. They have little greaser gangs over there that hang out in the park and dance. And they're still there. It's kind of a form of punk rock over there. And I gotta say, it's kind of awesome. All right. There we go. Folks, I'm done. It doesn't take that long. At least for me. Now, look at that. That's it. Let me make sure. Yeah. That ain't going anywhere. And if it does, it goes right back and stays. That's why this is great. Let me just make sure. Yeah, you get this out. Let me make sure this is tight. All right. Boop and boop. And that, folks, is how you grease your hair. Notice the comb technique. There's a trick to this. I hold it like this. You know, it all has to do with... Now, a little bit of information. I don't get my hair cut by anybody. Since 1997, I haven't had anybody cut my hair. I've had a couple people cut the back for me a couple times, but even that I usually do. Yeah. Davidson said he saw them in the park. And you know what's funny about the Japanese greasers? They're not so friendly. If you go over and watch them, they're mean. I mean, they mean it. They're not just, you know, pretending. They're actually tough guys. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so I don't let anybody cut my hair. I like cutting my hair. When I was a little kid, every time I went to the barbers, even the barber I liked, as soon as someone cut my hair, I was always like, I wish it was a little more this. I never was happy. So my solution was, if I do it, I can't complain. The other thing is this, and I'm going to tell you my secret right now. The secret to having healthy hair, for me, is I haven't washed my hair since 1997. It's the truth. Now, I rinse it. I comb it. I'm in the ocean all the time. Lots of salt water, lots of sun. But I don't wash it. I haven't put soap in my hair in so long now. I can't even believe it. 27 years, maybe? Yeah. 23 years. Sorry. So, and it somehow worked. I am pushing 50, folks, and I got a 2-car garage. It's a little light, you know, it's a little thinner, obviously, but it seems pretty healthy. This guy says, one dude was swinging from a handle at Jack Daniels. Yeah, dude, they drink and party and dance. They're really into this. They sit around and do this all day. Now, I grew up in a very unique time, which is my transition. And it has to do with all of this. I was born in the early 70s. My early childhood was the late 70s, early 80s. And where I became who I am I would say would have been 83, 85, 86. That's where I started really like listening to alternative music and the Dead Kennedys and the punk rocks and the metals, and it all just started. So around 80, 83, yeah, 85-ish is when that started. But my early childhood was the late 70s. And what was the late 70s? Well, there was a lot of throwback to the 50s. Tons, everywhere you looked. There was Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Grease, Sha-Na-Na, the Ramones. To me, the Ramones were the embodiment of that. Now, even though they had long hair, they were definitely emulating a 50s, early 60s vibe, especially it was like the doo-wop guys meets Link Ray. You know, that's what Ramones were trying to embody, which was, in the late 70s, what it was. So I grew up in this weird time where I was getting influenced 70s style 1950s stuff. And I remember as a child seeing Leftover Greasers, which probably would have been like what people think of when they see me now. They're like, that guy's a leftover from the late 80s, early 90s. I remember seeing old dudes with their hair done and being like, wow, that guy was a greaser in the 50s and still does his hair that way. And I've been wearing my hair like this pretty much, I don't know, a long time. When I was touring in Toilet Boys, this is funny, I didn't do this every time I walked out on stage. We were so busy traveling that my hair was just like whatever it was. It had a couple long pieces it would hang down, and that was it. And then when I got a little bit, after we started doing shows later on too, then I started slicking it back, and then eventually it just falls apart from headbanging. But I always liked this hairstyle. I thought it's easy because it's one thing, it's neat, it's tidy, it looks good when you're dressed formal, and it looks cool when you're not dressed formal. I always thought it was the way to go for me and my style. Same with sideburns. I can't believe people don't wear sideburns. Like I think like I would look weird without them. When I was younger, I didn't wear them. Yeah. Of course, I'm influenced by Elvis Presley. Again, in the late 70s, he passed away. And he was still extremely famous. And also, as a child, I remember when he died because people were talking about it. And it was just Elvis, 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 Elvis. He influenced me. But I got to say, the Fonz was probably a bigger influence because he was on TV all the time. And so the 70s, we've got this thing happening. It's the 50s resurgence. Just like the 80s resurgence is happening now with Stranger Things, right? So a lot of the kids that are growing up today are getting an 80s influence via 2020. It's very interesting how that works. And then Star Wars comes out. I'm a little kid. I'm a 5-year-old kid. I still remember my mom bringing me to see it at the movies. And I remember seeing, I thought my favorite part was the garbage dump scene, the garbage room. I liked the movie. I thought Chewbacca was cool. And then fast forward to 1980. This movie comes out. And I saw it and my mind was blown. I thought, wow, Star Wars sucks. This is way cooler. I want to see this again. And I believe I got to see it 2 or 3 times. I saw it once with my dad, once with my Aunt Edie, and I might have gone again. I love every minute of that movie. I've seen it more than any other film I own, pretty much. Maybe Chainsaw 2 is comparable. It's the first movie I rented. I think it's the first video rental I ever rented. The first video I ever bought was Godzilla King Kong in the discount bin, the cheapos. But Flash Gordon, the reason why I liked it was the visual and the music, and it had Queen doing the soundtrack. It had a A-list cast. All the actors are really good, okay? Even the Flash Gordon guy, who's not really an actor, he's cast perfectly, and he's surrounded by really good actors. And I like that it visually has the aesthetic of like a 1920s, 1930s science fiction film, but it takes itself seriously. It doesn't play the laughs. It plays it dead serious. And still to this day is probably, yeah, it's my favorite. Now, it didn't do so well at the box office, I think because they were comparing it to Star Wars. And they wanted it to have, I don't know, the same aesthetic. I don't hate Star Wars. I love them. I mean, they're great, but I'm just not that big of a fan anymore. I'm a little tired. I'm going to be honest. I've seen them all. When I watch them again, yeah, they have cool parts in them, but it's not like Flash Gordon. The way Flash Gordon is laid out, with each scene building to the climax, and how the music moves it along, I don't know. There's gore in it. There's a couple of scenes where you're like, ooh. When Clytus gets it, woo! Love it. There's so many scenes that you want to reenact as a child. The gladiator combat, when the Hawkmen storm the, what do they call it? Ajax, the warship. Love it. And all of the actors from Topol to Brian Blessed to Ornelia to Sam Jones, Melody Anderson, and of course Timothy Dalton as Prince Baron. And let's not forget the one and only Max von Sydow, who passed away this year, as Ming the Merciless. Now, if you're a fan of Max von Sydow, I want you to go look up The Exorcist and realize that Father Merrin in that movie, I believe he's about 6 years younger than I am right now. In real life. He was in his mid to early 40s when he played Father Merrin. And he looks like an old man. So that's A, a really good acting job, and B, a really good makeup job. It looks pretty realistic. Ming the Merciless, buddy. See, Pataki, what's up, brother? You like this movie. Dude, Ming is just the quintessential bad guy. I mean, Darth Vader's cool, but you can't see his face. So after a while, it's kind of whatever. Dude, Ming is just like, he plays him as a real guy. And the plot of that is interesting. I always thought it meant a lot. Ming says he likes to keep his people fighting amongst themselves. It's way easier for him to rule. And anytime I look at the TV and the news, I am constantly reminded of this lesson that I've learned from watching Flash Gordon. I also like the theme of Flash being an ordinary guy who really is a hero in his heart. He's a real hero. And I like that. He's not... Yeah. I don't know. It's just very simple. If you haven't seen them... When I meet somebody who's never seen Flash Gordon and they're at my house, you should see what I do. I'm like, wait, you've never seen Flash Gordon? Really? And then I go, what time is it? Oh, guess what? You want to watch it right now? I'll watch it right now. I love seeing people react the first time to that movie, especially if you got a killer sound system and you turn it on to 10 or 11. It's great. The colors, the visual, and look at this. A lot of people have never seen this before. Here's the original soundtrack, what it looked like, the vinyl. And look at the back. Yes! And it comes with an insert. And look at this picture of Queen. Look at that. Look at Freddie. Wearing the shirt! When I saw they made these shirts, I died. I said, God, I gotta get one. I usually put it on when I'm watching the movie. I know there's a lot of fans of this film. I mean, dude, when I saw the movie Ted, I was like, this is basically a tribute to this movie. And then this record comes with... it's got the lyrics, it's got the track listing, and it also has this awesome picture of Ming. That's him. That's his first appearance in the film. So, for those of you that haven't seen it for a while, or if you've never seen the film Flash Gordon, I highly recommend it. It's an American classic. Beautiful movie. Dino De Laurentiis, I believe, is the production company. And it's immortal. I think it will outlive Star Wars. I think it'll come back again. Because it's a one-off. It's a one movie and it's perfect. Star Wars will eventually get turned into something else. Um, Mandalorian season 1 I enjoyed. I will eventually one day watch season 2. I will eventually one day return to watching some television. I have been off of TV for 2 months. Over 2 months now. I've seen 2 films in that 2 months. On TV. I mean, I've put movies on. I've watched... What did I watch? Hereditary. I watched that with my son. Oh, and I watched A Music War, a documentary. Ah, yeah, he's right. So Davidson said Richard O'Brien is in it too. Yeah, he plays Riff Raff, and he wrote the music for Rocky Horror. Yes, he's got a great little part. He is in the swamp scene. He's on the swamp planet, Arborea. And he's got some lines, and it's him. He's cool. He's got a little part in it. There's so many little weird things in that movie. If you've seen it a lot of times. The boar worms. Is it the ball worms or the boar worms? No, not the ball worms. I could never understand what she's saying there. Have they ever talked about a remake? I think they have. You know there was a sequel in the works. It just didn't go because the film didn't do that well. That's why there's a question mark at the end. I would be sad if they did a remake. They did attempt to do a television show. Yes. Oh, Davidson said he hasn't seen TV since 2014. Congrats, brother. That's awesome. Good for you. That's a noble thing to say. Yeah, I'm just not interested. I'm a little tired. I'm like, I know there's great stuff. I'm not denying there's some good stuff. It's one of those, like, I'd rather do some other things. In my journey in the last few months here that I've made a shift. I shifted a gear. I literally hit the clutch and went, and put it into a new gear. Since I put it in that gear, watching TV ain't that appealing to me anymore. I'd rather do tutorials on how to do my hair. Way more interesting. I'd rather read comic books. I'd rather read Greek philosophers. If you told me I had 20 years left in my life, so if you're in your 20s, that would be when you're 40 you die, okay? Does that seem like a long time away? It shouldn't. If you told me I had 20 years left, so I would be pushing 70. What are you going to do? I certainly wouldn't waste it watching stupid TV. 20 years? Not that long. I would kick it into a gear and work. So I thought to myself, do I have 20 years left? Maybe not. Maybe I have 5. Maybe I have 10. Maybe I have 2. I don't know. At any rate, what would you do? If you knew you had 2 years, what would you do? If you knew you had 20 years to live? Well, I'm doing right now what I would do if I knew I had whatever. I just prioritize my time more and value who I'm hanging with, what I'm learning, and what projects I'm working on. It's 8:45 right now. I'm sure I have some people in here that have never seen this before. If you're in here and you're new, hit that subscribe button. You never know what you're going to catch on these shows. Tonight was a hair grease tutorial. Next week, we might be summoning demons. I don't know. Yeah, subscribe. I mean, honestly, I do get donations, and if you can do that, that's awesome because it goes right into my show. But honestly, the subscribe button is way more valuable now. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I today listened to a podcast. It was Joe Rogan and a psychologist guy talking about how depression, a lot of people go straight to it's a chemical imbalance. It's the first thing that the doctors tell you. Oh, if you got depression, it's most likely a chemical imbalance. You're not getting enough vitamin D, blah, 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 blah. Your chemicals are off. We're going to treat that. And then you have the guys that think it's more of a mental disorder, like a behavior thing, an abandonment issue that triggers this or that, right? And so people are depressed and seeking happiness. So Joe Rogan has this dude on, and they're talking about it. And the dude says to Joe Rogan, hey, they did a test on depressed people in America and in the world, and they said, if you're unhappy right now, what kind of things would you do to try to make yourself happy? And the Americans all did things like, they would say like, I would go shopping for myself, or I would go get a massage, or a facial or nails done for a lady, or a new outfit to make myself feel better about myself. The people in the rest of the world, most countries, the majority, they did not say that. They said they would do things for other people. They would make a cake for their friend and have a party. So while I'm listening to this, these guys are talking about happiness the whole time, and debating whether it's chemical or this or that. And I'm like, wow. I've been reading Greek and Roman ancient philosophy for the last 2 months now, and listening to neuroscientists in their reflection on a lot of that stuff. Specifically, the Cynics and the Stoics, and the Epicureanism influence on that stuff too. And I'm listening to these guys argue about what this thing is about happiness and how to go get it, and the Stoics are like, you can't go get it. That's the whole problem. So I'm sitting there listening to like, wow, like there's so many different angles to these things. And according to the Stoics, happiness isn't something that's a goal and shouldn't be. The Epicureists would say it's kind of a goal, but they had a different word for it, and it was way more nuanced. Imami? I think that's what they called it. Imame? They had a weird word for it. I should know this. Shame on me. I should know this. Imame? They had a word for what bliss was. The Stoics were like, no. That's the problem. Everybody's looking for it. How to be happy, how to get out of depression. I need to do this, I need to do that. If I only go on a vacation, I'll feel happy. Or if I get new friends, I'll be happy. Or if I buy this outfit. Or if I get a nose job. God, I hate my nose. If I have a new nose, I'll look in the mirror and feel happy. And from what I gather, this is why it never ends. Because they're missing the whole focus of what happiness actually is. And I remember as a young kid, I had a breakdown at age 19. I needed to make some major life shifts. And I realized at that age something, which I'm going to bring it back to present. I realized happiness is not the goal, because I thought of it as a chart then. You have happy here, you have sad here, and then you have the middle. So if you're always up here, happy, everything's great. Everything's great. When the bad stuff happens to you, and it will, you're going to either get sick and die, get sick and slowly die, or watch your friends and family get sick and die, or suffer, get sick and die, or all of them at the same time. You're going to deal with it. It's going to happen. If you're up here in happy land, you got to go all the way down here to confront the really serious, sad stuff. It's like the distance is great, right? And if you're the type of person that's miserable all the time, you're down here. You're like in the bottom, and you're living there, and your chemistry becomes normal there, right? So when the good stuff happens, like you meet really great people, or you get a better job, or you actually do make some life changes that are cool, you got to go all the way up here to enjoy it. Too far. Too much of a distance. Too much of a shock. So I thought early in my life, when I was 19, I figured this out. You got to go over the middle. If you're in the middle and you're not really happy nor sad, you're just cruising, when the good stuff happens, you go up there and have fun. When the bad stuff happens, you go deal with it. And I still believe that true, but now I have some more insight on the nuance to it all. And the nuance that I've discovered is from reading Seneca and Epictetus, and reading Marcus Aurelius and all these guys. Happiness is the result of living according to your nature of what you're supposed to be doing. That requires purpose, real purpose, not fake purpose, not manufactured purpose just because you don't have a purpose and you throw something quick together. Doesn't work like that. Once you find your purpose of what you're supposed to be doing, what you're good at, what you're able to pull off, the thing that makes your bills paid for and creative satisfaction in doing so, once you accomplish those short-term and long-term goals in that purpose, happiness comes along. That's your friend. Then happiness shows up. And it's not up here all the time. It's part of it, and it's a satisfaction of sorts of, hey, I actually pulled this off, and it made my life a little easier. And now I look at it like that, and it makes much more sense. But my graph of being up here and down here still fits into that. It's definitely that. I figured that out early on in when I was young, because I would look around and I would see people trying hard to be happy. I always thought when people try hard to do anything that's against their nature, or it's not grooving right, it's just sad to watch. You're like, dude, you're putting so much effort into this thing and it's not going anywhere. Yeah, joy and happiness, Pataki brings up. The difference between the two. Interesting. Well, let's talk about this. When I hear the word joy, I'd rather use the word joy, maybe. Joy to me has the word content in it. And a delightful energy of the process, maybe. Whereas happy, it sounds like something you buy. I don't like it. I like joy better. Any thoughts on this? On the difference? I'm curious. I'm going to look this up. I never really... Joy and happy. Yeah, there is nuance to that. Very fascinating. But yeah, that's to me what I've been learning and applying as best I can. The other thing about philosophy and Greek philosophy and Roman philosophers, they all thought it was something that didn't come natural. You got to actually put the work into it, which to me proves that it's real. People think, oh, if it doesn't come naturally, it must not be right. Well, here, somebody says they think the opposite. Oh, you like the word happy better than joy? Here it is. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. Joy is more of a state of being. Okay, that's what I would say too. A state of being of joy where even when bad things happen, you're able to have this way of looking at it, maybe. Yeah, okay. Interesting. These philosophers. All right, I'm going to look at comments now. Let's check it out. I don't know those books that you're referring to, the 5 o'clock club, or what color is your parachute. Joy is a moment of day, happiness is a mindset. Okay, it's funny, yeah, it's all semantics. I don't know those books, but I do know that what I'm saying is not being sold to the public as something cool. A lot of these self-help gurus are out there telling you what I think is the worst advice possible. Now I know what it's called. It's called toxic positivity. It's not facing the past mistakes and not facing any negative emotion at all. If you have a friend that kind of turns your screws a bit, you get a new friend. Instead of figuring out why your screws are being turned, why they're needling you, why it's affecting you, or talking to them about it. I have wonderful friends that I am able to have debates on religion and politics and all sorts of things. In very, getting nitty and gritty and take none of it personally. I have lots of friends like that. And I know now that is not popular. People now make clubs and walls of their type. And the social media stuff ain't helping. They're actually told to split you into groups of things that you like and keep it that way. And don't intermix. Back to Flash Gordon. Watch the plot of the movie. Very interesting. Wow, it's been an hour, folks. I'm gonna pull out of here quick, man. I wanna go do my night. It's Monday. I have things to do. I have a cake in the oven. What else? So I have lots of things, and I get up every morning and work on this Kickstarter. Pay attention. Wednesday, there's gonna be some new rewards. Shh. We're drawing the winner for the shirt and the deck of cards. If you're new to this channel, two things: subscribe to this channel, and also go to Instagram, Cardone Magic, and look for this contest. Episodes, December 9th, Wednesday. I'm going to do a episode called Surf or Die. It's going to be about surfing, philosophy, stoic surfing mixed with surf etiquette, and also I'm going to draw the name for the satanic playing card winner. Friday, we're going to do Tarantino Sucks, and then I'm not sure what next week is. I am working on Behind the Devil's Curtain, the next episode, episode 5. I have a few ideas on that. There's a few. And also, I'm working on something very special for Behind the Devil's Curtain, something that's going to come out in the next week. So keep your eyes open. It's something I pre-taped. It's this thing called Wicked Insight. And some people are going to really love it, and there are going to be those that do not like it. I've already had a few reactions to a few people I've shown, and they were like, whoa. And some people were laughing, some people were crying. It's one of those, I'm very curious of how some of you are going to react. I thought it was fun. So that's coming out soon, so pay attention to that. I might release that on Friday. We'll see. Not sure. And also... yeah, Kickstarter right now. The Satanic Playing Cards. Look at this. Boom! Look at these cards. The artist is Stuart Palm. I've worked with him on projects for many, many, many years, designing stuff with him, and really spending a long time on the symbolism and the meaning and all sorts of things. So this is definitely, You had a little swell, huh? Yeah, we've been getting some waves here. We get them. Last week we had some good ones. Here we go. Satanic Playing Cards. Do not miss. And look at this t-shirt we're making. Look at that. And here I am wearing a mock-up, holding a mock-up of the cards. The cards are going to be super duper high quality designer playing cards. They're fancy, which is why they're not cheap. Fully endorsed by the Church of Satan. What? And I think people are going to freak out and love them. They're going to be an awesome gift when they're done. Anybody that gets gifted a deck of these is going to be like, what? If somebody gave these to me, I would pass out, which is why I'm making them. Sometimes you got to step up to the plate, look around, and go, hey, I really want this. No one's making it. I'm going to do it. And that's what I thought. I'm gonna do it the right way before somebody does it the wrong way. And I'm happy with it so far. So we are at 10 grand, and it's gonna go higher, thanks to you guys. Yeah, everybody who's in here, thank you so much for coming in. Shout out to Davidson, Mulkey, Talon, C. Pataki. We got, who else was in here earlier? Libra Liz. A lot of the people that come in here. Luke. My mom stopped in. Kinky Pink is in here. Whoever's in here, I really appreciate your time. Whoever watches this when it's posted, which is where it gets the majority of its views, thank you. Don't forget, you can always donate offline. There's a link at the bottom and in the description. And also, please, I need everybody here to subscribe. Trying to get to that 10,000. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will definitely, the whole game's going to change. But in the meantime, here we are. It's December 2020, and this is my evening hour show, and I thank each and every one of you for coming out here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the hair grease tutorial and my tribute to Squiggy. David Landers, killer actor, thank you for doing your thing. Made my childhood a lot more fun. You guys are great. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to send you out with my news hour outro. And, yeah. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. There are those that say playing cards are the devil's picture book. Well, we agree. My name is Reverend Adam Cardone, and I present to you the Satanic Playing Cards. Inspired by the most feared religion on earth, and endorsed by the Church of Satan founded by Anton Szandor LaVey in 1966. A luxurious pack of playing cards that's perfect for a game of chance or a bit of sleight of hand magic. Memento Diaboli, the Satanic Playing Cards.